Hello everyone, welcome to my show, going from thousands to millions. I'm again excited. I can't help not saying that. You know what? Every time before I start a podcast, I say to myself, I'm not gonna say that. But you know what? I am excited. I got Samuel Diamond. How are you, Sam?
Good, thank you for having me, Sam.
It's great to have you here, mate. You know, how did we meet? I remember how actually we met. You used to follow me on Instagram. How did you find me on Instagram? Because I had fuck all following.
I think that you used to go to Harold's and one of my friends was there selling Tom Ford suits. Okay. And I think he's filmed you and I've gone, you click through late at night looking at profiles.
Yeah.
And I looked at you and I thought, look at this guy's cars. I'm going to follow this dude, Okay. You're obviously a baller. But then I started to look more into you had a video which was about your background, how you came here.
That's right.
How were you, you came from an immigration detention centre.
That's right.
That's when I was sort of caught, and then I thought, geez, this guy's cool. I have to follow, not to blow smoke in your ass, but it's really cool because,
thanks, man.
You didn't come from this trust fund background, and I respect that.
Thanks, man.
You know what I mean?
Appreciate it. And then we met in the lift. I remember that part because I got in the lift, you got in the lift, and you said, hey, you're Sam, I'll follow you. I'm like, hey. Yeah. And that's how we connected.
Yes.
What a small world, man. Like, what are the chances of that for us to run into each other in the lift, you follow me, and we just connected. And since then, we've stayed in touch. Hello, how are you?
Yes.
We actually haven't had the chance to sit down and have a conversation. It's always been we run into each other in the lift or in the car park.
Quick g'day, how you doing, yeah.
All right, so, and then again, going on that, we met last week. We ran into each other again last week in the lift. And I said, hey, man, he said, what are you doing? I said, doing a podcast. Why don't you come on? He said, yeah, I'd love to. And we just made it happen, and here we are today.
Anytime, bro, anytime.
So I want to get to know your story. I want to share your story because, number one, I'm really keen to get to know you for myself.
Yep.
And then I want to share that story with all the audience. So that said, man, like, give me a little bit about your background. How old are you? Where you from? Yeah. Just give me a bit of a rundown.
So I'm 34 years old.
Yep.
From Melbourne, born and bred here.
Yep.
I have a made-to-measure tailoring brand, which is based in Collins Street.
Nice.
So
what's it called?
Samuel Diamond Tailors.
Samuel Diamond. Yeah. I love your surname.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Like I said, it's a very Jewish surname, so it's like silver and gold and diamond. It's all about.
I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't know how it works. Is that how it works?
Yeah, like you know how Smith was like a silversmith or somebody. Yeah. Tim Baker's parents were a baker. Diamond was like jewelry. So the Jewish people were into clothing manufacturing, jewelry, things like that. We're talking hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So tell me, how did you get into doing what you're doing? Take me back. How did it happen?
Sure. So, when I went to university, I studied arts.
Okay.
Doing journalism. So, it was sort of similar stuff to broadcasting and radio and all of that. And I really enjoyed it. But at the end of it, I thought, I'm not really qualified for anything. Like, I've done this arts degree and it was a lot of fun. But at the same time, I'm not really qualified, like I've just done an apprenticeship or a degree in dentistry, which is something very specific, like a career.
Hands-on, you learn
So I did that. I finished that, and then I travelled for a bit overseas. I came back and went to law school in Victoria University.
Okay.
So 3 years, I did that, and I became a lawyer. So
you did an art degree.
Yep.
You finished it.
Yep.
You went on holidays.
Yeah.
And then you came back and you did a whole new degree.
Yeah, basically, that holiday in between was actually, there's more to it than that. There was actually an internship in America.
Okay, tell me.
Which was in funds management, so private equity, global equities, buying and selling shares on the trading floor.
Yeah.
This was in 2008. So you know what happened in 2008. Yeah. The GFC all blew up. And I came back to Melbourne.
So you were doing this, you went up to America and you did this?
Yes, to San Diego and New York, a 6-month internship there. Because I thought, well, I had a connection and they said, do you want to come over and do it? And I thought, wow, here I am 22 years old.
Why would I not?
Why would I not?
Wow. So you went and did that, came back, and the recession kicked in.
Exactly. And all these people that I spoke to who were like, Sam, come, do an internship with us at Goldman Sachs or at, UBS in Melbourne later when you come back. They weren't even replying to my emails because there was no jobs. And these people were even lucky to have jobs at that stage. So I thought, I don't see a way into this industry. And I didn't really have a huge passion for it. Like, I knew there was money there and stuff, but I wasn't in love with it. So I thought, what can I do? I thought, well, I'm quite good at humanities and sort of language and writing and arguing and speaking, and I'd probably be a pretty good lawyer.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd apply to law school. Even though I didn't have really good marks, I applied to VU, which was one of the lowest, easiest to get into ones.
Yeah.
3 years, I did that and I worked my ass off. I was super paranoid that, I was going to fail and that I would disgrace my family, and all my friends would see that, you've gone into law school, you're a dumbass, you're probably swimming in the pool, it's too deep now. I was so worried about that I studied myself into a distinction average and got a job at Minter Ellison, which is the biggest corporate firm in Australia, I think. So this is getting to the tailoring now because...
Yeah, but I love this. So how old were you when you did this?
26.
Still very young.
Yeah, 26. So that was, I think, I graduate from VU 2011.
So you went and worked there?
Yeah. Everything was sort of going to plan. And I got a job at, it's a dream job in Perth, in the Perth office, because they just opened a new office. I missed out in Melbourne, didn't get any jobs here. Bang, up pops one because the mining boom happened.
That's right.
Yeah,
go on.
Off I go to Perth for a year.
So you got up and left?
Yep.
You went to Perth for 1 year?
Yep.
Yep. On your own?
On my own, yeah.
Yeah.
But it just was a classic case of the grass is always greener. You think when you're in law school, you see these guys in nice suits, in Italian shoes. They're, the clients that we worked for was Macquarie Bank, Qantas, ANZ, big insurance companies, big mining companies.
Yeah.
The reality is, unless you're sort of a partner who's dealing with these clients, you're doing a lot of the grunt work, and it's a lot of filling in forms, doing applications, due diligence, and if you can suck that up for the best part of 5 years, you might get a promotion and get better work. And I just couldn't see myself getting there. I started to get quite lonely in Perth because I missed my family. I didn't have the friends that I had, been used to having around all the time. And it culminated in a point where, the pressure of a firm like that is such that when you do something bad, you make a mistake, you miss something in a contract or whatever, you'll never hear the end of it, and you might lose your job because the standard, the quality of the legal work is expected to be so high. Everyone who I worked with had 99 for their VCE, went to Melbourne or Monash or UWA, and I was a bit of a, I'm one of those people who has to work really hard to be smart. And so it culminated one day, I was on the train, getting the train to work at 7:30. I thought, I hate this job, I hate this city, I don't have any friends, and this express train came past, and there was part of my mind that thought, just jump onto the tracks here, because you're gonna fuck up this job, you're gonna come back to Melbourne with your tail between your legs. And it wasn't like I was gonna do it, but it crossed my mind, and I thought, that's it. The next day I came in and I resigned.
Wow.
Yep. That was the end of my corporate legal career.
Well, when you just said that, I just got shivers on my back. I felt that. Because I know exactly what you mean. It's not like you were going to do it, but the thought crossed your mind. And that when you feel, maybe this is not me. Maybe I need to make a change. And maybe that's the angels. I'm not a big religious person, but maybe it's the angels telling you that this is not for you.
Exactly.
So your guardian angel saying that, mate, this is not you.
Exactly. And that city wasn't me. I never felt at home there. And you can stick it out and you can make friends, and probably I should have joined a football club or got more involved in the community. But I felt
that wasn't you, man.
And the job was just so many hours. It would have been difficult.
Can I ask you, why did you do all that at the start anyway? What were you trying to fulfill? Why did you went to school, you know, you got up, you went all the way to US to do that, you know, internship. Then you come back, you push yourself again hard, which, you know, I really respect that. Do a whole new degree, get up again. Those are very big decisions. Like, it's, you know, I've spoken about this a few times. At that moment, they don't feel like big decisions. Because, you know, I see a lot of young people and all they want to do is just move forward. Boom, 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 boom. You don't think about it. But when you look back at as you grow older, you go, oh, they were quite big decisions. Do you think you were chasing something? Do you think you were... I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I'm just, like, were you trying to prove something to yourself or your parents? Or
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
To myself,
Yeah.
to everybody else who doubted me,
Yeah.
to my parents who I wanted to make proud.
Yeah.
And, you know, at that point, you know, entrepreneurship and going out and having my own business it seemed like even more work than the law firm, you know?
100%.
It was even scarier to me and wasn't... I thought, you know, this path of a legal career is very set out in front of you. Yeah. You're a graduate, then you're a lawyer, associate, senior associate, and eventually partner. Yeah. It's you can see where that goes. Yeah. If I start a tailoring business, it can go in a million directions and there's no structure to it and it's all sort of scary. But I liked that I could see that career path in law, and it's something that I could go, here's the goal. Once I get to this goal, I'm going to try and reset and then see where we go. Yeah. But there was some sort of safety to that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But it wasn't you.
It wasn't me.
That's what I'm trying to get at. It wasn't you.
No.
You're an honourable, hardworking young man. You did all that, and at that moment of that train, you're like, this is not me.
Yep. Exactly.
Is that right? And
exactly.
Then I'm going to go. So I've proved to myself and everybody else that I could do this because I went and did it.
Right.
I didn't run away from it. I did it. But now I'm going to go and follow my passion.
Exactly.
And so this is where we come to. So you come back to Melbourne.
So I come.
How did you get into that? Yeah, okay. Come back to Melbourne, and then what happens?
So I came back to Melbourne, and you know, I felt like I did have my tail between my legs because I wasn't I didn't come back to a job offer here. I didn't come back to, you know, a life here. I moved back in with my parents, and you know, I started to apply for some jobs, and I looked at jobs at law firms. I thought, what can I do here? You know, because so much of life is just surviving. How am I going to survive? How am I going to pay rent? How am I going to eat? Let alone, what am I going to do with my life? You know? Yeah. So I started to sort of, you know, take a bit of time and to think really deeply about it. What do I enjoy? And the funny thing is, Sam, that it doesn't just hit you. You can sit there for a million years and think of things that you want to do. But until you actually get out there and give it a crack, you're not going to know if you're actually A, good at it, or B, have a talent for it. Yeah. So,
so true.
You know, there was so the next sort of 4 years of my life, you know, my dad's work, he was working in funds management. Yep. And introducing American fund managers to the super funds. Yep. So, you know, he had 3-4 clients. Yeah. They were paying, you know, a couple of $100,000 a year each. Yeah. Just to come out here 2 or 3 times, and all they wanted was introductions to Australian Super, Cbus, Hester, Host Plus, billions of dollars. Yeah. So I did that with Dad for 4 years, and it was quite an easy job because they sort of just only came out a few times a year to exceedingly do well at your job. You just had to introduce them. Yeah. So while I did that, I enjoyed learning from my dad, working with him, but at the same time, it was his job, it was his business, and I was sort of helping him, but not really on my own path.
Yeah, I get it.
If you know what I mean?
I get it, yeah.
So, this is when everything changed. 2015, I go on a holiday to Italy.
Okay.
Yeah. With my partner. And we went to Milan, the first stop there. And I get out...
Fashion capital.
Fashion capital, yeah. And I've always loved dressing up. You know, when I was a little kid, it was you know, my 12th birthday. I wanted a blazer like this. No little kid asked that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I loved dressing up as Superman, Batman. I was obsessed with putting on clothes and becoming who you want to be. So I get to Milan and I see these blokes, 65-year-old blokes with double-breasted white linen suits, no socks on, Italian loafers. They've got beautiful bracelets, jewelry, silver and gold. And what was most cool about it was that it wasn't the clothes, it was their whole attitude.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The swag, the way they presented themselves, the way they were.
The way that they...
I'm actually going back to Italy.
Yeah, you've seen it. Like, if you've been to Italy, you know.
Yeah.
Because Australia's very different, you know.
Yeah.
We're very female focused when it comes to fashion.
It's very true.
Yeah, whereas in Italy, the men's takes the first position.
Yeah.
It's the most interesting fashion there, I believe.
Yeah.
So I go there and I see these guys. I thought, gee, that is so cool. At this time, Instagram's like, you know, starting to take off, and I'm starting to follow these guys who are bloggers, and they dress really well, and they look pretty cool. But there's a few of them, and they had like, you know, 10, 20,000 followers, and I thought, this guy has really shit style. Like, how does he have so many? I'm going to have a crack at this.
Yeah.
So I started an Instagram account that was posting these outfits, and you know, it started to get some traction. And before I knew it, I did collaborations with Paul Smith, a brand from England, and GQ Australia, and you know, I started to get a few custom suits done, and I thought, this is so cool, you know, this custom suit process. I went to one place to get one, and I walked in, it was impressive, it was quite a nice studio they had, sat down, they gave me a whiskey. I thought, whoa, that's pretty nice, thanks, you know, I'm spending like $1,200, but I appreciate the service. Measured, and a long conversation, you go in for another fitting, and at the end of it, I put my suit on and I looked in the mirror, and it was this blue double-breasted suit in this Huddersfield cloth, and I just looked in the mirror, and I've never felt that way looking in the mirror, you know. I thought, geez, I feel nice. It wasn't I look nice, it was that I feel nice.
I totally get you, man.
Yeah.
You feel $1 million.
Exactly. So that's how I really got into the suiting. Around this time, I was approached by a gentleman who I went to high school with, and he had his own made-to-measure label. He studied fashion at the White House Institute, or I think, White House. Yeah. He knew how to sew, stitch, and he had contacts in Asia and Europe to do the manufacturing as well. Yeah. And he said, you know, how would you like to get a suit from me? And I said, sweet, let's do it. And then I said, you know, I really like this. Are you gonna go be serious with this business here? And he was like, yeah, you know, I am. And I said, well, if you want to partner up, I'd be keen to get involved. Can you teach me and stuff? And he's like, yeah, well, let's just, we'll do a few more suits, see how we go. And as things evolved, you know, I started to think, well, maybe while I'm working with Dad here doing this, and it's all good, but I wasn't challenged or anything too much, and maybe there wasn't that much of a future in it for me there. Yeah. I thought, I could definitely spend the rest of my life doing this. Like, this is my passion.
This is your passion.
This is my passion, you know? And so the guy that I was talking about before, I won't name his name, but I felt like he was dragging me along a bit, and he wanted me to invest 30 or 40 grand in a business which didn't yet really exist. Yeah. And A, I didn't have 30 or 40 grand. Yeah. And B, I wasn't really good friends with him in school. In fact, I sort of didn't love him. I didn't really like him that much in school. Connected, yeah. And I was chatting to my dad, and I said, look, this is a situation. I think this guy's like pulling my chain a bit here and dragging me along. And, you know, I don't want to give up my whole life savings to go in on something that doesn't yet exist. Yeah. And he goes, why don't you have a crack at it yourself? Yeah, you know, this guy's not making the clothes himself. Yeah. You know, why don't you just cut him loose? He's a nice guy or whatever. Yeah. Other people that you can learn from out there. And then that's it. I made the decision. Done. And then probably started writing a business plan based on there's a Harvard, it's called the Harvard Business Plan book, and it's a 25-page book, which is a guide on how to make one. And I wrote one then. This is now 3 years ago. Yeah. And decided, okay, I'm going to launch it. What can I call it? I thought, well, probably my own name, you know? Like, Tom Ford is Tom Ford. Hugo Boss was a real person. Yeah. Why would I make up, you know, something that isn't real? Especially if I have a nice name like I do. So.
So called Samuel Diamond.
Yeah.
Wow, that's what a great story.
And it's still, you know, I feel like we're still at the early stages of this story too, you know?
100%. Yeah. And you know what? It's interesting that it took you, you know, it takes some people 20, 30 years to find that. And some people don't ever find it, man.
Mm. Yep.
And I think to me, one of the main things is to listen to the voices, listen to your feelings, you know. If something doesn't feel right or it's not for you, don't push it and don't pursue it.
Yes.
Follow your dreams, man. And you know, and you don't know sometimes what that is. Like, you know, probably, 24, 25, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I remember you got to the careers teacher at school. What do you want to do? I want to become a doctor or engineer. Okay,
Right.
no problem.
Yeah.
Because that's what your parents tell you, doctor or engineer. In the Persian community, that's all. If you don't become a doctor or engineer, you're a failure. Right? And then you're like, but what do I know about being a doctor or engineer? I don't know anything about it, right? But a lot of people follow a path, and they are afraid to change. They're afraid to make other decisions. And I think a lot of it's because they don't want to let other people down. They don't want to let themselves down. They feel like a failure. And they just go down that path for 20 years or 30 years. And they never get to live their dream and find what they're passionate about.
Yep.
Whereas it's nice to see, like, people like yourself, me, and other people we've had. If it happens, just give it a go.
Exactly. And you got to know when to cut people loose, I think, sometimes
100%,
too.
man. 100%.
Because ultimately, you have to look out for your own interests.
100%. That's something I struggle with a lot. I feel guilt for some reason.
Me too, yeah.
And I hate that. And I talk to my wife about it all the time. I'm like, why do I feel like responsible for this person and that person? I don't know where that comes from. But I'm a massive believer that, kind of contradict myself, because I'm a massive believer that you either get it or you don't get it. If you don't get it, you're not going to get it, mate.
Yeah.
Like, I tell you once, twice, if you don't get it, you don't get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel a lot of empathy for people. And I will always want to see the best in them, and I want to give them a go, and, but you learn that, in a way, that what you said is 100% right. Like, you give people opportunity, they either see it or they don't see it. For me, when I started my first job, I used to do probably 10, 12 hours a day. Because I was like, I have been given an opportunity that I would have never been given. Yes, I get paid $7.50 an hour, but I really don't need that money right now. I live at home. For me, my number one goal was to take that and learn as much as I could to build my career. And if I didn't do that for 2-3 years and then learn, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have the company that I have today. So that was the foundation to building my journey and my career today. But I saw that. I recognized that. I didn't go in at 9 o'clock and piss off at 5 o'clock on the dot. I went in and I did 10, 12 hours because, wow, man, here's someone that's opened the door for me. Yeah. And I'm actually even getting paid. Yeah. I would have done it for free.
Yes.
I would have done it at nothing.
Yeah.
I would have done it at $0 because I'm learning a trade that there's no other way I would have learned it, And like
100%.
a lot of people don't see it like that,
Yeah, and it's not all. And even if you do, make that pivot in your career or change in that way that I did.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's a waste because there's so many skills. Now I'm dressing a lot of lawyers. If they want to go to court, I know exactly what they should wear. If they're meeting with Macquarie Bank or some work cover injured client in Dandenong, they should be dressing differently. I can help them with that.
That is so cool. I actually totally get that. It's interesting, man. I used to love suits, I don't wear them as much anymore. And I'll tell you what, because I'll put on a bit of weight. And when I wear a shirt now, because I love custom fitted shirts, And when I wear a shirt now and I feel my belly, it really upsets me.
Me too, mate.
So I stopped wearing suits. But it's interesting what you said, because I remember buying my first Tom Ford suit. And I felt very guilty first because, I think it was around 10K.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, fucking lot of money, right? But I'll tell you what, man, I felt so good.
Yeah.
Like when I put that jacket on and I looked in the mirror, I went down. I keep doing that.
Yeah, right.
But when I put that jacket on and I looked in the mirror, I felt $1 million.
Yeah.
And you know what's... These are people...
Well, you are $1 million.
Thanks, bro.
Anyway.
But life, hard work, and this is the thing that I really, I'm very passionate about is it's about creating memories and feeling feelings.
Yes. That's, something that you just touched on then was the feeling of you wearing the suit. People sort of ask, what's the best part about your job? And it is without a doubt not the suit, not the shirt that they're buying. It is the feeling, which you just described that they're buying.
Yeah.
Some guy might have come to me, he might have just got dumped by his girlfriend. His self-esteem is pretty low. He doesn't feel like it looks that good.
Yeah.
And when he leaves, has conversations with me, a few whiskeys, and puts on this beautiful premium fabric, custom cut suit. Yeah. That is the feeling that I love the most about the whole job.
And you're part of that, man. You make that happen. You're part of that journey.
It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. But, you sort of have to... The thing is with the suit as well, it's been dying in the corporate world.
That's true.
Yeah. People who work as, say, an accountant at KPMG or Ernst & Young or something, or a lawyer or a banker, they're still in suits. But guys like yourself... marketing people, digital marketing, architects, they're going much more casual with their clothing. But to me, it only makes the suit more powerful because
that's true.
when I put a suit on, I didn't start getting into suiting because I had to wear a suit.
No.
I didn't put it on when I was a lawyer working at Mutualison. I put that suit on begrudgingly. Going to work, not taking too much pride in the suit. Now I put one on with pleasure because I enjoy wearing a suit and the way that it makes me feel.
That is so true. And a topic we touched on last week with Sylvia was confidence is the most important thing. Man, I've seen people that are absolute geniuses. They are so good at what they do. Like next level. Mm-hmm. But they are doing mundane jobs every day because they don't have the confidence to speak their mind or speak up.
Yeah.
And in life, like for me, everything I've done in my life has been about for me. Don't care. Cars, whatever. I don't care what people think. It's never been about that. Couldn't care less. I actually get embarrassed. When someone says something nice about it, I get embarrassed. Like I don't know how to take it. I feel a little bit like funny. I don't know how to deal with it, right? But I've always done everything in my life because it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
When it makes you feel good, it gives you confidence.
Mm-hmm.
When it gives you confidence, so when you put a nice suit on and you feel $1 million, you act like $1 million.
Exactly.
Do you understand what I mean, man?
I understand totally.
That's what I mean. When you drive a Ferrari, you feel good. When you feel good, you perform good. Mm-hmm. It's got nothing to do with showing off other people. It has nothing to do with it. Absolutely zero. Right? It's about how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
Some people have a nice golf club. When they have a swing, that makes it feel $1 million. So it's got nothing to do with the actual item. It's whatever that item may be. It's how it makes you feel and what you like. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I feel like it's a tool that can be used. You might not wear a suit now, but you get an invite to a wedding. You're going to need. There's going to be an occasion. So while it's dying out in the corporate world, I think the custom space is still booming.
100%.
One story that I'd point to just to show you sort of how I experienced it. When I was working in funds management, I went to this superannuation conference called it's called the ASI conference, Australian Superannuation Investment.
Yeah.
All the fund managers, all the super funds are there, and it's in Alice Springs.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of these guys they've been in the industry for a long time. They're 60 years old, and they're rolling in there in shorts and a t-shirt to the conference. And I thought, geez, it's 35 degrees here. Yeah. I'm going to wear shorts and a t-shirt into this conference. So I went into the conference. I knew I knew a lot of people in the industry, but there was still a lot that I should have been trying to impress and getting to know more. So there's a table. Going to the lunch or whatever, and I'm in this shorts and t-shirt, and there's this table of directors. They're all directors of, it's called Local Government Super, I think, in Sydney, which is they've got billions and billions of dollars to invest of members' money. So I sit down, do you guys mind if I sit here? And they sort of looked at me and barely said a thing, and I sat down. I said, my name's Sam, how you doing? And they just didn't even want to look at me or barely, you know, if they did shake my hand, it was only one or two of them, and it was a real limp-handed shake, and then back to their conversation. So I thought, you know, what's happened here? Like, why'd this go wrong? Keep in mind that at this time I'm about 28 years old. These guys are in their 60s, you know, and I thought, you know, I would have looked like an idiot to them. You know, I brought a suit up there, and the next day I put the suit on, and I put a shirt on, and I put a tie on, and I went into the lunch, and I came up to this table. It was the same directors of this super fun, and I said, do you guys mind if I sit here? And they said, no worries, come on, sit down. What's your name? And I said, oh, I'm Sam, how you doing? And they said, great to meet you. Not only were they nice and reciprocal to me and all handed me business cards, and we later, you know, had meetings and stuff, but they didn't even remember me from the day before. So since that point, I knew, especially as a younger gent in the corporate world, you really have to show respect by dressing with respect. So true. Yeah. And pick the occasion wisely.
It's so true, isn't it? It's so true.
Because they just, you know, there's certain things that might make people not take you seriously, like your age or whatever, but definitely the way you dress is one of them.
That's very true.
So, you know, I just knew that it was important at that stage, even though I didn't have a made-to-measure label at that stage.
Do you think it's old school values?
It is absolutely. It's manners. It's manners. It's respect.
Yeah. But do you think that's dying?
I think these days...
In the young generation?
There is a group of the young generation that are absolutely obsessed with tailoring menswear, dressing up. Even if it's more casual, you see right now I'm wearing a turtleneck rather than a shirt and tie. So it's probably moving in that direction. Yeah, but
I get what you mean, but so it's evolving in a different direction, but still you got the you know, the actual fundamentals, the foundation that still remains.
Yeah, I think so. It's not the be all and end all, and there's a lot of snobbiness within the tailoring world, which turns a lot of people off. Yeah. And I 100% get that. Yeah. That came out of, you know, my parents might not be poor or anything like that, but they certainly came from very working class backgrounds themselves and would have never been able to have a tailored suit. Yeah. My grandfather before that, they would have all had handmade suits, and all they would have worn was suits. You know, so I think that, you know, people should explore tailoring and menswear, but not because you just work at a law firm and have to wear a suit. Do it because you want to look sharp at the races, or you want to look cool at the next wedding you go to. You know, it's not about just doing it because you have to.
So tell me, what about the actual part of the business in terms of, like, can you go online a bit what you do?
I do, you know, just as the coronavirus hit this year, it was a really negative impact on my business. And I think conversations with you in the lift where it's a tough year. Yeah. I do have online available, so people can buy a suit online, but how many people want to buy a tailored suit online?
I can't do it. You know what? I've never bought anything online when it comes to clothing.
Okay.
You know, I can't do it. For me, it's always been like, I'm going for the experience.
Yes.
I'm not going to go and buy something just to put it on. If I buy something and I put it on, it doesn't fit right, I will never wear it again.
Right.
I just don't like it. You know, I've got clothes that I bought because, you know, I had a few drinks there. Yeah, let's buy this, and you buy that. I'm not going to wear that.
Right.
So for me, it's the experience, and that's the experience. So it's not just the suit; it's the experience.
That's right.
That you go on this little journey. You know.
That's right. And it's more than just even that, because even if you go to like Myer or Henry Bucks or something, you buy like a cool jacket. Yeah. You go and you buy the jacket and you leave. Yeah. With my clients, it's a 45 to an hour sit down first, and then we have another 20-minute fitting, and then maybe another 20-minute final fitting. And over the course of these 3 interactions, I get to not just get to know them, but start a relationship with these clients, which these other retailers don't really have that experience, you know?
100%, man.
So you spend more time with them, you build this sort of relationship.
Yeah, 100%, I totally get it.
You don't really know if they're like a friend or a client sometimes.
I feel they become a friend. Yeah. Like even with our business, you know, all the clients that we've had, and we've had a lot of them still for probably 10, 12 years, they become my friends.
Exactly.
I don't see them as clients.
Yeah.
I don't have a business conversation, like client conversation with them. I have a friend conversation with them.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's such a beautiful thing.
Yes.
That's why I don't feel like I work.
And it's genuine, you
Yeah,
know.
100%.
It is genuine.
I don't feel like I'm working.
Yeah.
I'm talking to my friends.
Yeah.
I'm helping them with what they need. They're asking me for what they need. I'll give them what they need. The end user gets what they need. Everybody wins.
Yes.
You know? So it's not I don't feel like I'm working. Even though I am working, it doesn't feel like that, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
So tell me.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's next for you?
That's a very good question. You know, part of growing the business was learning to run a business.
Yeah.
And it's hard, you know.
It's not easy, 100%.
Yeah. And even though I might be able to do that process of, having the client come in and the experience we were chatting about before, sitting there and doing your tax, or sitting there and doing your contracts, or sitting there,
the boring stuff.
paying your things or whatever. I said to a family friend, like, I'm really good at this part of the business, but I'm really bad with numbers.
Yeah.
And she said, no, you can't accept that. You can't be bad with numbers. I said, what do you mean? She goes, if you're going to run your own business, you need to learn to be good with numbers.
Good with numbers.
Otherwise, it's like filling up a bucket with water that has holes in it. Unless you plug all those holes first, there's no point, right?
It's so true.
So at the moment, I'm trying to, plug holes and improve my business before I eventually try and scale it up and make it into something bigger. Yeah. So the next stage, I have my studio at the moment, which is at 12 Collins Street, which is not far from where you live.
Nice.
And it's quite small and quite intimate, but I would like a bigger studio next.
Okay.
Maybe about the size of this room. Yeah. Because I have sometimes 4 or 5, groomsmen coming in. I want it to be comfortable for these guys.
Yeah.
So maybe that, but there's a lot of competition in the space which I operate in.
Yeah, okay.
But I view that as a very positive thing because it means
the best.
It means that a healthy market exists to tap into.
That's true.
Yeah.
Very good way of looking at it.
And there's a mint to be made if you can tap into it correctly.
Yeah.
So for me, the last 3 years of running it, I've been to Italy twice a year.
Yeah.
To go to a big trade show called Pitti Uomo.
Yeah.
And I've invested all the money that I've made back into my business and into myself.
I love that.
Yeah. Right now, I'm taking lessons with a master bespoke tailor called Joshua Ton, who learned for 15 years how to hand make suits.
Wow.
He's teaching me about tailoring, fitting, and as well as that, it's how to deal with clients. So how to upsell, how to deal with bad customers. Because at the start, you think, all I want is customers. And then after you start to get a few, you realise, not all customers are good customers.
100%.
99% of mine are.
No, 100%.
But some people are very difficult.
Very difficult.
And how to deal with them.
Yeah.
So I'm really trying to improve. And as sort of business goes forward, I'm going to sort of stop investing so much back in the business directly and start saving some money to scale.
And you know what else you're doing without even realising? You're actually continuing a tradition.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Because those things could die.
Yeah.
There's a lot of traditions that these days are dying because, technology and everything else.
Yeah.
But that's the old school stuff, man. That's cool.
The ability to, so your Tom Ford, so it would have been made by hand, which means they're not using any sewing machine. It's a needle and thread the whole way.
But that's what I loved about it.
That's what
made it special for me.
Yeah.
For that guy to come from Italy to measure me up, and and then to wait for that process, and man,
it's exciting.
It is so exciting. It is so exciting, and I remember getting a tailor-made jacket done, and I wore it in Monaco. Like Monaco, a lot of big, big yachts, all these rich people, and I went to Monte Carlo. I went to the casino, and man, here's this 36, 37-year-old guy, compared to the people that were there, pretty small in terms of wealth and stuff. And to get the compliments I did,
that's right.
It was just mind-blowing.
Yeah. When the compliments come in,
it was mind-blowing.
That confirms it.
It was mind-blowing, man. It was like next level. Here's this kid from Australia. We walk in, and he was like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I love that jacket. You know the one with the different colours I got?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, we're trying to come out.
It's purpley.
Yeah. It's got like 26 or 7 different patterns of colours in it.
Yeah.
Right? It was mind-blowing, man.
Yeah.
And like, I felt really good. I'm not gonna fucking lie, right?
Yeah.
And that's again going back to just it just brings these feelings and stuff. So tell me,
can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure, mate. Yeah.
You know, I've always wanted to hear a little bit more about your story actually as well.
Yeah.
Because I've seen what I've seen on the internet. I knew that you came here as a refugee, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Can you tell me how? Like, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of things that have happened between then and now.
Yeah.
But how did you come out of like that background to here?
Well, so look, I lived in Iran. I lived in Tehran. There was a war back then between Iran and Iraq back in 1988, 89. I think it was a war that went on for 10, 15 years, maybe even longer. So towards the end of the war, Iraq had the capabilities to actually send planes and missiles to Tehran, the capital city, because the distance, they couldn't. So they bombed all the other cities, but they couldn't do it in Tehran. So I remember as a kid, we used to get up in any time, middle of the night, during the day, the sirens go off, and we just had to run and hide in a bunker or in the whatever downstairs, because we lived in an apartment, in the car park. And then, we just didn't know when it was going to be your turn, to drop a bomb, and there goes your whole family, right? So we had to get away. So we got away, came to Australia with my mum and sister. We went through a journey to get here. That's a whole story in itself.
Did you go through Malaysia and Indonesia?
No, we went to Turkey. From Turkey, we went to Singapore. From Singapore, we came here.
Okay.
Yeah, so we came on a plane.
Yep.
We came on a plane, Melbourne airport, no passport. I remember the immigration officers were very confused. What do you mean, no passport? Anyhow.
Wow.
So we got locked for 1.5 to 2 years, from memory. And it was pretty tough. Look, it was basically like a jail. It wasn't like, they housed people that they had to go back. So people that overstayed the visas and everything, they bring them there, house them there until they send them back.
Yep.
So couldn't speak a word of English, didn't know anybody. There was a gentleman from Palestine that, so there's a female and men's section, obviously. He went on a hunger strike because there's no kids back then in detention centres. So he and a number of other people went on a hunger strike, and they said, we're going to call TV studio, they're going to come here, we're going to go on a hunger strike. It's not acceptable for kids of this age to be in a environment like this.
How old were you?
So I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
And then I remember overnight they picked us up and they took us to a hostel in Springvale because they didn't want that kind of publicity to come out back then.
Wow.
Yes. Otherwise, so I never forget him. I remember him like yesterday, even though this is like 30 years ago. I remember the guy's face. I remember his name. I remember everything about him. So they moved us to a hostel, but we were never allowed to leave the hostel. They said, if you ever step foot outside of the hostel, then you actually stepping foot in Australian sovereignty and we'll send you back to Iran until your case is sorted.
Yeah.
So I remember as a kid, man, I used to cry every night to my mum, and I used to say, well, fuck, why? Why is this happening to us? Like, we just want to go out. I want to go out. I want to see what's out there, I want to see, why are we still here? Like, Anyways, we went through the process, everything got sorted. And then what really, really, really helped us and taught me a lot as a kid was the generosity of people, total strangers. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I was born in Iran, I'm Muslim, but here, the Catholic Church, they helped us a lot.
Really?
Yeah, there was two sisters, Sister Kat and Sister Adel. I still remember their names. They were very, very kind to us. I remember getting our first black and white TV, and that was such a special moment for me. It had the dials, where you move the dials, yeah? And I was so excited to have a TV, And to see that generosity from total strangers and not to allow religion or race to be a factor, They didn't care if we were Muslim or where we were from. It wasn't relevant. For them to come and help us, it was very, very special. And I remember that, and it meant a lot to me as a kid. And that's why I'm really, really big on helping people and giving back, because I know what it feels like. So we really had that support, And then I went on from there. We went through the process, got our visas and whatever. And then went to high school. High school was pretty tough.
Where did you go to school?
So I went to a number of different schools. I went to Salesian College, Oakley High, and then I went to Oakley. I went to Chadston, Oakley, then Salesian College. And it was pretty tough. Couldn't speak English. Got picked on a lot because I didn't have the cool shoes. I didn't have the nice, all the things. I couldn't speak the language.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough. So I grew up really dealing with things with my fist. Because that's the only way I could deal with, people picking on me and dealing with bullies. And
it's so funny that you mentioned that, because I had a bit of an issue with that as well. And you do realise, you do learn lessons. So I went to school in Kew, Xavier College. And I was I think I joined in year 8.
Yeah.
And I remember the guys I was hanging out with, I thought, they're a bit nerdy or whatever, and there's the cool guys over there, and there's the jocks there. These guys were kicking a football in the oval.
Yeah.
And I thought I could just go play with them. I'm a year 8 boy, I guess I was 13, 14.
Yeah.
And they're kicking the footy around, anyone's in. This guy grabs the footy, runs past me, and I tackled him.
Yeah.
And I must have tackled him a little bit hard or whatever. And he goes, "Fuck off, Diamond, you fucking loner. Go get your own mates." And I thought, whoa. And a couple of people who were playing footy around just said to this guy, "Whoa, ease up," sort of thing. But nobody jumped in and was like, "Hey, easy on the new guy."
Yeah.
Nobody jumped in.
Yeah.
So I was mates with a couple of guys, and you got to know, Xavier, some people's parents there are legitimate gangsters, because it's like the Catholic school, so it's a lot of Italians. Yeah. We had Mario Condello's kids there when I was there. We had the chief of police at the time's kids there, and parent teacher nights were probably interesting. But I made mates with some Italian gents who were pretty well known. If I said the surname, you'd definitely know the family. And I told them, they could see these tears in my eyes. Like, what's wrong, And I said, "Look, this happened, but I just got bullied," sort of thing. The next day, the guy who bullied me came up to me and he goes, "Sam, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to bully you. I didn't mean you're a loner. I'm so sorry. I acted like an idiot. My deepest apologies." Yeah. I thought, what happened? It turned out these two blokes lifted him up against the lockers, held him like that, and were like, "Never treat someone new like that. Absolutely unacceptable." Yeah. And, while these guys were thugs, but it was cool to know that someone had my back.
But they still had the right morals, man. That's the thing, I never judge people from their background, because they still have the old school values, you know what I mean? And it's interesting because back when we grew up, there was no social media bullying. Now it's all done on social media. Everyone hides behind a keyboard now.
It's scary.
It's worse, because with us, it was face to face, and you get over it and you move on.
Exactly.
Whereas now it's a whole new world, man. It's on social media. It's scary because they're hiding behind a screen. They don't have the audacity or the balls to actually face you face to face. They hide and they do it. And if you actually call them out on it and pull them in, they won't be able to. Yeah.
You would never say, things that people say online, because face to face is such a more personal,
100%
thing.
100%, man. But the advice I have for people is that even though at those times it feels hard, it doesn't last.
Yep.
Time changes everything.
And that's a horrible age to be, by the way. Anyone who's
terrible, man.
14, go new
school,
they're going to pick on you because you're new. They're going to pick on you because you're Jewish.
You're a
Muslim,
or whatever it is. 100%, man. And I got picked up.
And
I got picked up.
Me too.
Yeah, I got picked up. I went to a Catholic school. I was a Muslim kid going to a Catholic school.
Same. Half Jewish kid in a Catholic school.
So it was like, what the hell am I doing? But for me, I didn't care. But it was very challenging. And then, man, I went to uni and I felt lost. I really had no direction. I had no idea what I was doing. I was having a lot of fun at university.
What were you
studying? So I did electrical engineering. I did double degree electrical and computers, and then that was at La Trobe Uni. I failed. I left La Trobe Uni halfway, first year. I went to Swinburne and I did information technology. And I wasn't really studying. I had no interest. I just rock up, just make sure I'm at the lecture room. I'll do my 1 hour lecture, I get out, go to the tutorials, and that was it. The rest of the time I spent in the cafeteria. And then one day, man, I thought, where's my life going? I'm a phony. I have no direction. I'm having a lot of fun. I think around 25, 26. And it was a moment in my mum and dad's driveway. We lived in Rowville. I had a green RAV4. I was sitting there and I looked in the mirror and I'm like, I got to do something about my life. This is fucked. Yeah. I reversed that, went to a Centrelink office in Knox City in Melbourne. Back then there was a computer, touched the computer. Computers were new back then. I liked something to do with internet computers. Applied for a job at 459 Collins Street, a company called ESA. Got an interview, Went there, level 14, walked in, doors open, this big office, whole floor. Went to the receptionist, I'm here for a job. Go down the corridor, see Stuart. When I saw a gentleman called by the name of Stuart, I'm here for the job. What do you know about computers? Yeah, I know about Microsoft Windows, this and that. You start tomorrow, $7.50 an hour as a tech support officer for a dial-up company.
Jeez.
Did I know anything about that? Fuck no, man. I had a Commodore 64. We couldn't afford to buy a modem, let alone a computer to connect to the internet.
Jeez.
I rocked up 2-3 hours early every day. We had cubicles. There's 4, and this is all young kids. I'm taking back to the dial-up that just internet was new, right? There's 4 or 5 all skaters.
Is this in the 90s, like the mid?
Yeah, man, 90, yeah.
Yep.
That's going back 20 years ago.
But it was a good booming industry.
Yeah, it was
too,
good. It was
so
huge. It was huge. Everybody was a skater, man. All these skater kids with big. I swear.
That was me, man.
Yeah, all the kids,
definitely,
skater kids. I'm walking in. This is one kid walking in. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I made friends with everybody, man. Everybody loved me because I made friends with everybody. I was very social, you know. I had to, deal with people. And we had cubicles of 4 people. Put the headset on, and start. And all I did was ask questions, man.
Yeah.
I rocked up early. So everybody helped me because I didn't deal with everyone. I used to rock up early. We had a logging system to log into the computer to say you are here. I used to punch them all in.
Yeah.
I used to punch them all in. I used to punch them all out, right? Because I was the only idiot that used to come 2 hours early and leave 3-4 hours late. So because of that, they liked me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'll punch them in, punch them out. And man, that's where it started, man. And I did that for 2-3 years. And I learned the ropes from ground up. And then I thought, you know what? I'm sick of answering people, calling people that call and they're angry because the internet doesn't work. They're never happy. I'm sick of being, disgruntled people dealing with this, Mm-hmm. A friend of mine that used to work with me, Simon Taylor, he used to be my supervisor. He moved to a company called Labyrinth, which is a family owned by Stuart and Sally. They're an internet company. I applied for a sales position there. He said, there's a sales position, why don't you come across? I went and did an interview with Sally, the wife. Then did the interview, and then I asked Simon, how did I get an interview? She goes, mate, she wasn't too sure. Come again, Matthew wants to meet you, So I went and saw Matthew, and Matthew interviewed me, and he goes, I like you. Sally didn't think you were up to scratch in your language skills to be able to speak to directors and CEOs and all that. But you know what? I think you'll be okay. I think you can learn that, So I'll give you a job. So he gave me a job.
So he's gone on the gut feeling sort of thing. She's gone, okay.
Based on...
Okay, yeah.
100%. Yeah.
It's a gut feeling thing that he's just sort of...
100%.
I feel like your podcast with Tolga, there was a similar moment like that where somebody
100%.
saw that potential in you.
100%, man. 100%. So I got a sales job, and I'll tell you what again, mate. Come in early, work late, and I absolutely smashed it, and I killed it. I used to kill it. Every month I used to absolutely smash it. And then I thought, you know what? I never did Friday night drinks. I had a very big ego even back then. I always wanted to pay my way, do the things, like never owe a cent to anyone. Always walk out of the door with my head up high. Always pay my own way. Always do my own thing, And I wasn't the kind of person that sucked up and did all that. I couldn't. It's not me, And there's no right or wrong, each their own, but it just wasn't me. I couldn't do that, right? For me, I come in, I do, treat me based on my numbers. Numbers, people lie. Numbers don't lie.
That's exactly.
Reward me based on my numbers.
Yep.
That company got sold out to a company called FDL in Perth. Matthew became very rich. I never forget the moment where we had lunch and at the Mitre of Colin.
Yeah, the Mitre Tavern.
Tavern.
Yeah.
He sat at the head of the table. God bless him, man. And he had this aura about him. And I looked at him and said, I want to have that aura one day, He's just so... And, we went through all these changes and he lost everything because of the share price and everything, which is fucking sad, So that taught me a lot about mergers and acquisitions and what you got to learn and all that kind of stuff. It's interesting how you learn based on other people's experiences,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he ended up working for me, doing some contracting work for me after I started the business. Anyways, so when I saw that aura and I saw that, and I knew that I wasn't going to move up in the corporate world because it got bought out by a public company.
Yeah.
It just wasn't me. Like I wasn't going to play that game. I wasn't
bureaucracy.
Politics, bureaucracy. It wasn't me.
Yep.
And I didn't want to get a tap on my shoulder, man, at 40 and be told that I'll be made redundant. And I always like nice things. Even when I had no money, I find a way to buy nice things, you know? Even if I had to buy something at 14% interest, I fucking get it. Because it made me feel good, because it gave me that, you know, that feeling, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I knew I was going to be in a lot of trouble one day at 40, get tapped and say you've been made redundant and have a $20 million mortgage or whatever it may be. I'm like, oh, what do I do now? So I wanted to take my destiny in my own hands.
It's so true that, you know, you can... I saw Jim Carrey, the actor, get interviewed a while ago, and they said he was telling the story how his dad was an accountant and he was a real funny guy. He probably could have been a comedian and an actor himself. That's where he got his talent from, his dad.
Wow.
He was a super funny man. But he just took a safe career as an accountant. And when he was in his 40s, he got the sack. He got fired.
Wow.
And Jim Carrey, as a kid, was watching this going, well, you can not follow your dreams and still get crushed or lose your job, made redundant.
100%.
So you might as well have a crack at something you like.
100%, man. 100%. And that's exactly what I did. And 100%. And you know what? I've been through the most amazing journey. I wake up every morning and I feel so blessed to be where I am today. I've met the most beautiful people through that journey. I've learned so much, you know. School of life. You know,
absolutely.
School of life, man. And I'm still learning and I'm still enjoying myself. And for me, it's about how do I pass that on to the young kids? How do I give back to them? Because I know what it feels like. But also, don't forget about my own journey still. You know, so I do this because it fulfills my soul. It makes me happy. Yeah. This is my hobby.
Yes.
This is what fulfills me. You know, instead of going out and getting smashed and do those things that, you know, you go through at some stage. That doesn't fulfill me anymore. I've been there, done that. I've done those crazy things. Not interested in it anymore. This is what really fulfills me, makes me happy, and I enjoy that and I love that, you know.
Yeah, and I think it's what you touched on before earlier about, you know, the Catholic people helping you when you were a young refugee. It's exactly, that's what it is. It's giving back. It's helping. It's giving without counting the cost. You know, it's about being able to be a person for other people.
100%.
And that's the biggest high you'll ever get.
100%, man.
You know, is through helping other people.
100%.
You don't feel amazing when you get a cool Christmas gift. You feel better when you give one.
Man, it always feels better when you're giving than receiving. And it's interesting, and that's how it is, man, you know? So that's my journey, man, in a nutshell, and I'm loving it, and I'm enjoying it, and I get to see people like yourself and share your journey and mine, and...
It's unreal, and I respect that so much, because you've come from a background where nothing was really given to you. No. In fact, the odds were against you, and you've still, you know, come out this way. And the story's not finished either, so, you know, I'm excited to sort of see what happens and
thank you.
Where you go, but it just sort of... that refugee background is such a powerful thing. Like, my best mate is a Somalian refugee who came here in 1996. My grandfather and grandmother were Jewish Holocaust survivors who came here with nothing. And, you know, in fact, my grandfather himself, whose name was Samuel Diamond, and actually was a clothing manufacturer. He ended up having his own factory in Melbourne until the 70s. Yeah. It was called Milano Fashion, and they did menswear, which is crazy. It's crazy that it's sort of...
So you've gone whole circle.
Yeah.
He'd be looking down on you, man.
Or maybe there's a lot of him in me. Who knows, you know?
But I believe in that. I believe in that whole reincarnation. I believe in angels, and I really believe in that. Like, and I'm a massive believer of faith, and that things happen for a reason.
Absolutely. You know, and the terrible things that so many people who have come to Australia have been through, like yourself, where you're sitting up late at night not knowing if missiles are going to come over. You know, it's people like that are other people who have inherited wealth. You got to take your hat off, because somebody earned that money.
Somebody earned that money.
Exactly.
And I always say that. I always say, don't hate someone because they have money, because somebody made sacrifices.
Absolutely.
Somebody, like, you know, good on you if you have all that. Good on you if your parents gave you that. There's nothing wrong with that. Somebody, your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, somebody made that sacrifice for that to happen. And that's what I want to do for my kids, and so on and so on. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I don't appreciate is people not owning it. People not being, you know, just own it. Who cares? And there's always two sides to the story, because people that are going through that, they feel like they're getting judged too. Because they go, oh, so-and-so, he wouldn't have made it if his parents didn't give him the money. So you got to put yourself in their shoes and how they feel. they feel that, oh, maybe I never got to prove myself because I was given that. But doesn't matter what your parents give you, it's still up to you to do something with that.
Yeah. You've got to play that. You got to play that hand of cards.
100%.
You know what I mean?
If you don't do nothing with it, you could go and blow it on drugs and alcohol and everything else, and just blow it and become an idiot. Or you can take it and say, you know what? Thank you, God, for giving me that leg up. Thank you for that opportunity. I'm going to take that. I'm going to create something even bigger, and I'm going to give back. And I'm going to help, and I'm going to keep the cycle going. So you got to look at it from both ways. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But there's a lot more. There's often more hunger in people like you.
Because you felt pain.
Yeah.
Because that what gives you the determination is the pain. Okay, so when you feel pain, when you're scared, when you don't know when you're gonna eat next, when you don't know when you're gonna die or you're gonna be alive, that gives you pain. Now, you can take that pain and become a victim and say, "Fuck my life, this happened to me, that happened to me," or you can say, "You know what? I'm going to use that pain because I don't ever want to be there again."
Yes.
I don't ever want to be in that apartment crying or worrying if my life's going to be taken next.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to go there. I don't ever want to go to that place where I'm crying every night saying, why is life so shit? So you take that hunger and determination, but you don't forget where you came from.
Yeah.
You remember that. You stay humble. You help people. You give back. But use that as fuel to push you, man.
Absolutely.
Because you know what it feels like. You know how shit it is.
Yeah.
If you don't know what it feels like, what do you know? You don't know what it feels like. So that's where it gives you that extra fuel.
And I think perspective too. Like if somebody cuts you off in traffic, you're not going to fucking lose it because you've been through some serious shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%.
If some business deal goes wrong,
100%.
You're not going to lose your cool too badly because
100%,
you know that life actually can be
100%.
a lot worse.
100%, man. And you know what? I lost a business deal, a very, very big business deal, probably 5-6 years ago. And I remember the gentleman ringing me, and I was getting a haircut. I sent him the contract. I actually did the deal without even him signing the contract because I wanted to get him across the line and help him out. Big organisation, one of the biggest in hospitality. And he rang me up, and he actually, like, the way he spoke to me, said, "Who do you think you are with this contract? I don't have time to read this contract. It's 30 pages. I don't have time for this nonsense. This is not how we do business," which is absolute nonsense because I know Telstra's contracts are 10 times that, you know, just arrogance. And I was taken back because I never had anyone speak to me in that manner, right? And I kept my cool.
He disrespected you.
I was very professional. I said, "Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I'll look into it. I'll come back to you." And I came home. And I said to my wife, she goes, "Oh, what's wrong? You look really sad." And I said, "Look, I'm really upset because this guy, it's a big deal. I worked so hard for it. He just absolutely crushed me. But not only crushed me that way, crushed my confidence and made me feel like just didn't feel good, you know?" She goes, "Honey, tell me about this guy." So, "What do you mean tell me about this guy?" "Tell you about what? What does he look like? What does he do? Just tell me about his life." And I told her about this is what he does, this is who he is, this, that. She goes, "Honey, you must feel sorry for him. You must pity him because his life must be so bad, based on what you told me, that he has to do that to you to feel good. So put yourself in his shoes. Don't be angry at him. Feel sorry for him." Because, and you know, it's interesting because I was like, "What do you mean?" And then I realized, if your life is good, if you're a happy person, all you want to do is give. Because your life is good. What are you going to be angry about?
Absolutely.
But you got to look at people's perspective. His life must have been so bad for him to even speak to someone like that in the first place. So I felt sorry for him. I pity him, you know.
It's a great way to think about that because you can... business transactions, things like that, I've felt a very similar way to what you were saying, in business before. And that's so true that it's a reflection upon them
100%.
Where they're at in their life, rather than you fucking up the contract, you do stuff out the deal. Yeah, it's just him being a douchebag.
100%.
He's probably stressed out about his mortgage.
100%.
He's living.
And he had a lot of problems.
Who knows? Divorce, who knows?
He had all those problems. He had all those problems. So
Yeah.
she made me look at it another way,
Yeah.
and I said to him, "Thank you, but we cannot meet your requirements. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. We did this one deal off our back. We'll take it, no problem. We'll take a hit on that as well." And he went elsewhere. and within 2 years they let him go. After 25 years of what he was there. And the people that did the deal, because it's a small industry, we all speak, they just didn't want that business because it was just such a bad business.
Yeah.
So actually, I went from thinking I've lost on millions of dollars to actually probably saving millions of dollars by not doing that deal anyway.
Yeah.
Because the deal was so bad that you would have lost. And having to deal with him every day on top of
Too much stress.
Yeah, forget it. So sometimes you learn in business that sometimes it's actually good to be able to walk away.
Yeah, not every customer is a good customer.
Not every customer is a good, 100%. And you got to learn that not every deal is a good deal, and you got to be able to walk away from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell me, I got a question which I asked everybody before I finish the show, and that is that, what advice would you give a young girl or boy that's sitting out there and going through what you went through 5-6 years ago, and what would your advice be in terms of business and getting on with it and entrepreneurship? What would you tell them?
You know, there's a Winston Churchill quote that I really like.
Okay.
And he said, "Success in my mind consists of going from failure to failure without any loss of enthusiasm." To me, that quote is about the ability to bounce back from fuck-ups, mistakes, bad business deals, wrong choices that you've made, and having the resilience to be able to bounce back. So people out there who maybe you're going to get made redundant or fired from your job, you're going to get dumped by this girlfriend you're in love with, you're going to crash a car and not have insurance and fuck. These things are minor setbacks, you know, and you've just got to look at it as a step towards something ahead of you on the path that you probably can't even see.
I love that. That is so well said. Don't lose your enthusiasm.
It's true, because it's like you know, success isn't determined by cars or houses or suits.
Nothing to do with it. Nothing.
It's about your ability to bounce back and stay positive.
Never give up.
Yeah, it sounds so cliche,
but it's not.
I really mean,
it's real.
Like, you know, when shit goes south, stay positive. That's really the advice.
Yeah.
And it's keep persisting, because so many other people will give up. If you keep persisting, the doors will appear.
Eventually, and time fixes everything. I'm a massive believer time fixes everything.
But there's one more thing I would say as well, if I can.
No, of course.
Is it, you know, the other, if I could say there was two things, it would be that.
Yeah.
The other thing would be add value. It costs nothing to walk your customer to their car or to the street, or open the door, or offer them a water, or just have a good conversation. That's, to me, adding value. It doesn't cost you anything to do that, but it'll get you a long way. It
is so well said, Sam. I actually had that conversation with one of my young peers yesterday, and I said to him, you know, you always have to add value. It's always a two-way street. In your relationship, at work, business, anything, you have to add value, and you have to go above and beyond. And,
that's right.
And people will see that. People will recognize. The right people will see and recognize that.
Yes.
And if they don't see and recognize that, they're not the right people.
Yeah.
But if you go above and beyond and you show that, the right people will see that.
That's what I think it is, you know. And to me, that's like defined my business quite clearly by, like, you know, say if I say to a client who's spent $2,000 on a suit, and he's worried that he's going to put on weight, I say, look, if you put on weight or you lose weight, just bring it back. We'll alter it for free.
Yeah,
you know,
I love that.
It's little things like that.
It shows you care. It shows you care. It's not about a transaction.
Exactly.
It's not a transaction. Give me, mate. You know, I've got staff with me that have been with me for 12 years.
Yeah.
12 years. You know, I remember one of my staff. He's absolutely amazing. Met him to get a reference for another person that was going to hire. Ended up having lunch with him. Hired him at $50,000 per annum. Brought him across. He's been with me for actually 13 years. And man, like, loyalty and the hard work and the grit and the determination this person's shown me. You know, and there's actually probably three more people which have been around 10 years. And the reason I'm saying that is that add value. They've added value, and the right people will see that. And we've gone through a journey together. And to see them now grow as well with the company and myself, it's just phenomenal.
It's unreal, man.
It is, man. So where can people find you? On Instagram?
Yeah, on Instagram. So at Samuel Diamond Taylors is my business, and at Dapper Melbourne Man is my sort of personal blog, I would say.
Nice.
And SamuelDiamondTaylors.com.
Where are you located?
12 Collins Street, but by appointment only. So please don't show
show
up unannounced.
We gotta do a suit, man.
Anytime, man.
We gotta do one, you know.
Yeah,
I gotta get fit first because.
Okay.
But now that you said I can bring it back to do it for free, I'll do it.
Anytime, mate. Anytime.
Well, man, thank you for coming today. I really enjoyed our conversation. You know what? I could speak to you for another hour or so because it's been so interesting. So thank you for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, and it's just great to hear your story from somebody who has really been on a interesting path, and it's really not the destination, it's the journey. That's what I think you're sharing with people.
Thank you, man, and it's very kind of you. Everyone, what a great conversation. As always, please tune in, subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, and above all, please provide some feedback because I love the feedback. That's what we want. We want feedback so we can continue to give back and improve. God bless. Have a fantastic day.